What's up, brick builders? Today's build is the ultralight helicopter, set number 42057. The year it came out was 2017. Age group, you're looking at 8 to 14 years. Number of parts, 199. Price per piece is 8 pence per piece. Cost brand new in 2017 is $14.99. Currently, if you had one that is mint condition in box, you're looking at £27. Used, you're looking at £8 to £13. Not a massive investment. Hello, Shaun from BRIT'N Bricks again, folks. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Lovely little build here today. We've got some instructions, but we've got some instructions online for you as well. Here's your parts. Doesn't look too many, but there's a lot of pins. A lot of pins. So if we put the instructions up for you, there you go. And we'll just separate some of the other parts here. Blades. Got an engine block there, 2 engine blocks. That pin just wants to keep moving. Some bars, a rotor, and some more panels. 2 small panels. Another panel. We do have actually a special brick in here as well. This is the 40th anniversary Lego Technic build brick. Usually it's in a 3-hole Technic bar or beam, and yeah, this is like 1977 to 2017. This set also you can combine with another 2 sets and you get another build. I'm quite sure if it's going to show that in here. No, but yeah, you can do quite a decent build with all of the sets combined. Anyway, 11 hole beam, the Technic beam, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Perfect. 2 black pins. So we go in a hole, pin, black pin, not grey, black. Then there's a hole, and then pin dropped, like so. Next we have the axle with the collar on it. Putting the short end in first, and then we're going to put a Mordrum head on top of that, just to keep it in place. Find one. You can see an ET head. I want a Mordrum. Where? Oh, there it is. And it's going to go over the axle to keep that in place, and it will have some sort of rotation. Next we have a periscope with a axle pin to it, hole facing up, and then we're dropping a small blue pin with stud on the end. And then we have got the wheels. So we've got the front wheel here. That's going to go on the axle, and it's going to be held in place by a large bushing. Next we have large white L shape. 2 blue pins are going into, so this is going to be like the gun, so that's the handle of the gun, and this is your barrel. You got to drop the 2 blue pins all the way through, so they're half on each side in the handle of the gun, and then you got 2 in the barrel. We got 1 hole, and then drop 2 pins like so. Then we put in 2 3-hole Technic beams. Oh, got some more panels there. A lot of panels actually, on either side of the handle of the gun. And then we're going to attach that to this black pin here, like so. So that's going to be like the front wheel of the helicopter, and this is going to be the front of the helicopter itself. Then we've got black pin is going to go into one of these L shapes here, one of these 3-hole Technic bars, beams in there, and then we got a blue pin, and then we got a hole, and then we have a blue pin. So we should have 3 holes at the end. And then we got the seat. So there's the seat, usually used as mud guards, seats, that kind of part. It's quite good. And a small white L shape. This time it's going to be a bed, so that's the headboard. And blue pin is going to go in short ways. And then we've got the Technic, the axle hole there for the 2-axle connector with pinhole in the middle. The pinhole is going to run along the bed, along the foot of the bed, and then we're going to put the seat in place on the blue pin, and then we're going to close that off with another small L shape. Like so, and then we're going to attach that to these 2 blue pins here, like that. And we got 2 3-hole plates and blue pin with axle. So I put the axle in one, then double up the plates. Then we got a black pin going in just after that blue pin. Give it a bit of a wiggle because you're going through 2 plates, and then that's going to attach to the last 2 holes on that beam. And we got 2-hole axle connector, black with a hole pinhole in the middle. 2 grey axles. There's smooth pin on one side, short axle on the other side. Like so. And then we've got a small white L shape, and that pin is going to go through the elbow of the L, and then we've got a black pin going into the bottom of the L, like so. Next is a 5-long axle with a stopper on the end. That's going to go through the pinhole, and then we're going to put 2 big tan gears on top of that. Hold that in place. Make sure you got some rotation, and it should look top down like that. Got a large bushing is going to go on top, and as you can see by the diagram, you push the pin with the stopper out a little bit so it's flush with the bushing, and you've got this space here. And then this is going to mount behind the seat. It's going to be on these 2 holes here on the plate that we just put in. And you see the reason why we push that axle out in a minute. So now you can push the axle all the way through, and it will go into the 2-axle hole connector to keep everything in place like so. Nice. That's a little bit tight. I'm just going to push that through a little bit better. It's a little bit tight. There we go, much better. And then we have a 3-axle, there we go, 3-axle and a fire hydrant. Axle's going to go in the middle, the fire hydrant's going to go in the middle, and then we got a plate. The 2-axle whole plate is going to go on the side, and then we've got a yellow axle, 7 long going through that plate there, and then we've got a 1-hole connector with axle. Going to go on that yellow axle there, and then we're going to close that off with another 2-axle hole plate, like so. Push your axle through just to make sure it's all a little bit symmetrical. As you can see in the diagram there, it's just saying where your axle should be. And then we're going to put 2 more plates on either side. So you've got 1 on either side, sorry. Just to reinforce that. And then we've got a 3-axle is going to go into the end of that fire hydrant. Another 3-axle. There we go. Into the end of the fire hydrant, and then a moon gear on the end of that, like so. Then we got 2 more 2-hole axle plates going on the other side, but facing up. So you got another one and another one. So you should have something like that. Next we are dropping a tan short pin. The long part is going to go in the stud, or the other pin, short pin, is going to sit out. It should be frictionless, so there should be some motion. And then we're going to put a 2-hole axle connector on the end of this axle here. I'll find it. There it is. With the hole facing up, and then we're dropping a black pin with axle into that hole with the axle facing up, and we're going to attach that to, okay, we're going to put the 40th anniversary printed as well, not a sticker, printed. We're going to put a ball joint pin in the middle and on, and we got this upside down, underneath, and then to the right another one. So I gotta find another ball joint would be nice. Another ball joint. Another ball joint. Where is the other ball joint? This is a grey one. Don't want a grey one. I want a black one. That's interesting. It's hiding. It's hiding. There it is. It was the part that wanted to roll away earlier. Okay, so, and then we're putting an arm on the middle ball joint, like so, and then we are attaching this to, we're turning it over so it's the right way up, and this axle is going to go through on there. It's going to be loose, so hold it in place, and then we're going to put a plate, 5-hole plate over the top, 5-hole grey plate over the top, like so, and then just to keep that in place, we're going to put a small bushing on top of that, like so. And then this is going to attach, so yellow axle is going to attach to the axle hole on those plates that we put in earlier, and it should have forward and backward motion. It's going to be for the rudder. Engine, normal engine build, 2 black pins, engine block, and 2 more black pins. 2 more black pins, like so. Then we want a black T-shape with a 4-axle with stopper, and then the axle is going to go through the middle of the T, and then we're going to put a moon gear on the other side of that, like so. Not too close, just so you got some movement. and then this is going to attach to those two black pins from the engine. Right, pistons. All right, so we got the crank, piston arm. You can see the way the piston arm is facing, and then a tan crank, and then yellow crank and piston arm, the last piston arm, because there's only two pistons in this build, and that's facing that way, and then you're going to attach that to the tan, and you should end up with something like that. And you attach the pistons to the piston arms, 1, 2, and then we're going to drop that in with, we got a 3-axle on the end of the crank. Drop that into the engine blocks like so, and then we're going to hold that in place with this and a 5-axle going through the axle holes. So this one facing up, so the hole's facing up, and then we're going to have 2 more, 1 on each side, hanging down like so. 2 blue pins are going to go into the ones hanging down, and they're going to go in long ways, so you've got half and half. So it's like that, and then this is going to, the axle is going to go in through this hole here, so put that axle through there, and those blue pins are going to go into the engine blocks. Give it a little bit of a rotate, you know you're good. And then we're going to put a moon gear on the end of that. Old moon gears, there we go. Now we got a 6-hole plate. We got 2 holes up, and then we're dropping a 3-axle with stopper, and then we're putting a big tan gear on the end of that. Again, give it a bit of space so that you got some movement. And then we've got the half crank arm. That's what it looks like. Got a half crank arm. Where is it? There it is. Blue short pin, and its long part is going in. It's blue short pin with the stud on the end, and then that is going to attach to the end of the white 6 plate. We got a 6-axle is going to go in and hold both of those in place, so there's no movement. We're going to drop another blue short pin with stud, and that just went flying. Next to the other blue pin. It's going to go through 2 plates, so just give it a bit of a wiggle. And then this is going to attach to the motor. So it's going to be, the axle is going to go into here, and these 2 gears are going to meet up. This axle is going to meet this crank part here, and then you should have some decent motion there. And then after that, go turn it upside down, or the right way up actually, because the pistons are now at the top. Go put a small tan gear with the teeth facing out at the top, and then a black pin with collar on top of that. Make sure you got a bit of space. Don't sort of like cramp it together. And then this is going to attach onto the back of the build. Actually, it's going to go onto this part here. So your axle from the engine is going to go into the axle hole on this L shape here. And these gears, the moon gear here, should meet up with the 2 large tan gears in the middle. Push that axle through. Give it a bit of a whirl. Everything's working. Perfect. And then we go push this axle through just to meet up with this connector here. Like so. Oh, we've got an L shape. L shape's going on here just to cap this off. So it's going onto that light grey pin and the axle. Push it home. And there we have it. Another 2 3-hole plates. Blue pin with axle on one side. Then you go push another plate on top of that. And then another black pin. So you're doing the other side basically. And they're going to attach onto the last 2 holes of this Technic beam. And then we got a hole. Then we got a pin, blue pin. And we're dropping it in long ways but not pushing it all the way in, so we're going to be pushing those in later. And then another hole and another blue pin like so. Then that's going to attach to the front axle, the pin, the yellow axle and the grey pin as well. So quite a few things to match up. Just give them a bit of a wiggle around. And it should, it's just that grey pin there, trying to go through those 2 plates is a bit of a challenge. There we go. And then black pin and the axle. Perfect. Push that yellow axle through a little bit, just so it's not peeking out. There we go. Then we got a black pin with a collar is going to go into here. Where's the black pin with a collar? And that will hold those 2 in place. And then we're pushing these blue pins in as well to secure the framework to the seat. And we got an ET head and a 5-axle. So we got a 5-axle and the black ET head. Like that. And then we go put another 2-hole axle plate one side, followed by a bushing, and then we've got a white 1-hole connector with axle, a red axle. Just push that through, and that is going to connect to that 2-axle hole plate like so. Then we're going to put another plate, 2-axle hole plate on top of that. On the other side, just close that off, and that's another small bushing like that. Get the axle with the collar and short axle on one side, long axle on the other. Short axle is going to go into the moon gear like so. Then we got a double pin connector dropping down there with the long or big bushing. There it is, big bushing down the axle like so. And it's the axle, the bushing is actually going to sit at the top like that. Then we're going to attach that to the middle of ET's head. And then we're going to push the axle through all the way and then cap that off with a small bushing. keep that in place. Just put your thumb behind it. Like that. Make sure you got free movement. If it's a bit tight, just loosen off the bushing. It's better. Okay, fold the seat forward and then drop this onto the blue pins here. And those two gears should meet up with each other like so. So then you got movement there. So that is going to be your top helicopter blades. Panels. Okay. The right panel. Pin in one end. Periscope pin in the corner. Another periscope pin on top of that. Like that. And then two periscope pins in the side. One at each end. All holes are facing up. And then we're going to put a tan pin, the long tan pin in long ways through both of those two periscope pins. And then this is going to attach to these two blue pins here, like that. Same again with the other panel. Pin in one end. Well, this time we're not dropping two periscope pins in here. We're going to drop the two periscope pins in here though. So one in either end, hole facing up. And the other one. Hole facing up. And then again, the blue pins are the anchor point, like so. Shorter, smaller, oops, that's rolling away. Smaller panels, this one here. We got a 4-axle going into the axle hole like so. A 2-hole axle connector going on that like that, and then a 1-hole axle connector going on but dropping down, so it's kind of up and down there. And then this is going to attach to it's going to be like that. Okay. Oh, is it good? Yeah, okay. So it's going to attach to this pin here. So this this connector is going to attach to that pin like that. Same again on the other side. So we get that. The 4-axle, 2-hole axle connector, 1-hole axle connector, and then attach it to the black pin. Oops, like that. And then close the engine covers, right? Okay, so we're going to close those. Nice satisfying snap there. And then we got 3-hole plate is going to go across these 3 pins here. Well, it's 2 axles and 1 pin. So it's 2 axles, 1 on each side, and that red pin like that. Steering wheel or flight stick. That small blue pin with axle, 1 white hole connector, a grey axle with pin, and then a axle periscope, and then a panel. Not that panel, that panel. And the axle is going to go into the axle hole of the panel. That's going to form the front part of the helicopter, I think. So fold the seat forward, and then this is just going to attach to these two blue pins at the front here, like that. There you go. Nice. There's knocked another pin on the floor. I have like a ridge around my desk or something. Another panel and a axle periscope with a pin, black pin on the outside like that, and that will attach to the blue pins like so. Now you got your front of your helicopter. Then we got the window frame of the helicopter, the canopy frame, using these plastic pipes. We have two plastic tubes and a white periscope. Going to attach that to that. Attach the periscope to the frame of the front that we just done, and then gently ease that tube into the axle hole of that two-hole axle connector, and then another one. Pop that on the axle first, and then just gently ease that into the two-hole axle connector again, and there you go. You got your framework of your cockpit or your canopy. And now we've got this interesting tri-axle connector, and it's going to connect to periscope axle. Now then, got to work out, because there we go. It has to have, as you can see in the picture there, you can see that it has to have the axle going straight down as well as the hole going straight down. Then we're going to attach the fire hydrant onto the end of the bottom axle like that, and then that's going to attach to the rear axle here, and that's going to be where your tail fins are going to be. And this is your tail. So we got another periscope, no, it's a fire hydrant, another fire hydrant, red pin, or red axle, sorry, a 3-axle, covering everything over. Where's my 3-axle gone? Where did my 3-axle go? Oh, did that roll off as well? It's hiding, isn't it? Alright, let's see if we've got a spare. Sure, I've got a spare. I just made sure that I had all the parts as well. So it must have bounced off somewhere. There's a black one. Is it in the container? No, it's not in the container. Here we go. I got one. There we go. Good job of carrying some spares. Right, so that's going to go in the end of the fire hydrant like that, and then the tail part is going to go onto the red axle like so. So this is the rudder. You go attach some stickers. We're going to do that, and then we're going to pop that on the periscope hole like so. And then we got the 2-hole axle plate, a ball joint with axle on the end, and that's going to attach to the rudder. And then this arm that's been hanging around is going to attach to that ball joint there, and now you've got your rudder movement. And we're going to attach the fins. I'll make sure I get these the right way round. Like that. And that. So there's your rear fins. And then we got this control stick here. So we got a red axle, a slightly angled connector, a 3-angled, and then another grey ball joint on the bottom of that. And that's going to go onto this tan pin here, like so. And then we're going to attach that ball joint to this arm, or this arm to the ball joint. And yep, and then to the black ball joint there, and now that will be your rudder control. We got the rear rotor going onto the black pin with collar here. Got some movement, perfect. And then we're doing the landing gear, so we've got the 4-angled Technic connector, dropping a black pin through the middle of that, grey pin with axle at the end, and a blue pin with axle at the other end. And then we're going to attach another angled connector to that black pin and a red axle to the end of that. And then we get the panel, the right panel. It's going to go into these two here. So there's going to be something that's going through this panel here to hold this in place, because at the moment it's kind of loose. 4-axle connect, an axle connector, tan pin with axle and frictionless pin, because it's going to hold one of the wheels. And then we are going to put 1-hole axle connector on the end like so, and then this should just slide in like that. And that's our first piece of landing gear on the front. So this is going to go here, I think. There's an axle hole. Yes, this is where it's going to go. Axle hole and pinhole. So pinhole, axle hole, and that's the first one. So we do rinse and repeat. So you get your angled, your pin, blue pin at one end with the axle, and tan pin at the other end. Attach your other angled pin, connector. I think I built that the wrong way around, because we're doing the opposite side, aren't we? So let me just change that around. There we go. And then this should go into that one there. Axle connector, and I'm ad-libbing it here. Yeah, I thought I got something wrong here. That's the wheel. There you go. that's right. We got this and that. The axle goes into there, and the wheel goes on the end of that because it's a frictionless. And then those two should meet together like that, and then axle hole, pinhole. It probably, yeah, it kind of rolls. It kind of rolls. The wheels are at a very strange angle, but you know, it does kind of roll. Last piece is the rotor. So we've got the black pin with collar is going on top. Then we've got this smooth collar going over the top of that. Then we're going to add these 4 axles to each side of this axle hole connector, and then the rotor blades on the ends of the axles, and pop that on, and there you go. It's not a bad little set. It's got some cool functionality to it. It's not bad. It looks pretty cool. I mean, the wheels are a little bit at an odd angle, but it does surprisingly roll. But top rotor controls the back rotor, which is really cool, and you got your little control stick here for your rudder. Not bad at all. Well, there you go, folks. Another little Technic build for you. The Ultra Lite helicopter, or gyrocopter. Yeah, I don't know if that's really a gyrocopter, but Ultra Lite helicopter Technic set. Combine about 3 more sets to this, and you get like a bigger set that you can make. It's a 40th anniversary Lego set, as you can see in the back there. There is that printed 40th anniversary right there. If you enjoyed what you see, give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down, give us a like, hit that like and subscribe, that notification buzzer thing, yeah, if you want to see some more videos, I'm Shaun from BRIT'N. Peace.